lesson today. Okay, so we stop here when that control stop because show no nature. So likewise, the six organs derived from one alaya, which divide into six union. If one of these return to the source, all six functions are ended. So it's reasonable, right? So the sixth organ derived from one alaya. So that is the eight consciousness, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the eight consciousness, that like okay. I think it's better for me to share another one. The let's see here. Oh yeah. Mm. In the 12 clean condition, right? Uh, yeah. This one is clear here. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because of the ignorant past, we raise some kind of karma, and that kind of karma would enter the wombs of the mothers in the form of consciousness, right? And from the consciousness, it developed to the body and the mind. From body to mind, it developed to the system. It's like here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and also we learned that uh all information, all karmas that we did in the past, it can will be condensed in the be stored in the eight consciousness. So that's eight consciousness is the last one to leave a body and the first one to enter the wombs, to enter the fetus. So that's why it say here. Mm, so so from alaya, right, from eight consciousness, it develop into because the karma develop into the body and mind, right? From body and mind, we have this sixth sense. That's what here, right? A sixth union. If one of these return to the source, all function are ended. So reasonable, right? We talked about last time. If we just focus on our hero nature, the other one would follow. Mm. Mm. Okay, yeah.
With all infection ended, Bodhi is then realized. Any defilement remnant requires further study, whereas full enlightenment is the Tathagata.
Yeah.
It's not that something new is being created,
Mm.
but that the things which are covering the Bodhi nature are being released so that it's as if it's revealed. But if there's still any sort of note of defilement, well, then that's not complete enlightenment.
Mm. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Ananda, and all of you who listen here should inward turn your faculties of hearing to hear your nature, which alone achieve supreme body. Wow. It's pretty short. Yeah, definitely it's much easier for us to understand, but for the common man, right? For non-Buddhists, there's no way for them to understand why. When we return inwardly to our hidden nature, our own nature, right? So we could achieve the supreme Buddhi. It's not easy for them to understand, right? Mm.
Right. Yeah. Even intelligent people, I think seeing uh, seeing the value in the original nature,
Yeah.
it's probably hard to appreciate because if I hold the belief that everything of value is in the world and these things I can attain or figure out or learn,
Mm.
then what's the point of paying attention to something that I already have that's there all the time?
Mm.
So yeah, I think it is hard to understand.
Even also even for us to even we know that we have pure nature, good nature, hero nature, and so forth. But when we sit there most of the time uh, we fall in the trap of our false thinking, right? It jump here and there, and we would not have time to recognize they're unreal. They just want to trick us. Most of the time we fall into their trap, right? Even we know
Yes.
not easy until we
Yeah.
let go, until they calm down, right? One by one. It's like yes, it 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 not much it's not heavy rain, right? Right, we can handle the water that may pour into our basement. If it's heavy rain, right, it pour into the water in a fully way, we will drown it, right? That's
Hmm.
that's a problem for us, and that's why without purify it every day or even every instant. It's not, most of the time we tricked by them. We tricked by our own thinking. Mm.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's why the question of Sid Patriarch, right? Huay Nang asked the monk when he inquired his teacher say, if you don't think about good, if you don't think about bad, where's your pure mind? So simple, right? So simple, but most of the time we play around good, bad, black, white, and so forth. Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, please. Yeah.
That is how enlightenment is won. Buddhas as many as the Ganges sand entered this one gateway to nirvana. All past Tathagatas have achieved this method. All bodhisattvas now enter this perfection.
Mm,
So this is the great way, in the sense that in the beginning, there are all sorts of different ways that will speak to different people, but eventually there comes a point where all of those ways coalesce.
mm,
And this going beyond duality is one of those where there's sort of there's one way at that point.
mm. Okay. So, what do you think? Let's say even we know we have a pure nature, with nature, hero nature, and so forth, but somehow we get involved too much in the secular life. We stuck with them. We have all kind of thinking to concern about our business, our teaching, our family member, and so forth and so forth. So when can we have time to have a break? When can we have time to have a recognition of a pure nature then? What do
I
you
think
think?
it's good to set aside time every day
Yeah.
for practice.
One important thing is I think like I just show you, right? The wisdom, the Buddhist wisdom. Without the recognition of impermanence principle, without recognition of the perpetual, right? The perpetual of the cycle of rebirth, or put this way in a simple way, without feeling tired of them, we still play with them. Does it make sense?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, if we don't have that kind of wisdom, we just still play around with them or from one lifetime to the next until we recognize, well, it's boring. Well, it's impermanent. Well, it just lead me nowhere. It just lead me up and down. That's why somehow in Buddhist wisdom, right, the Buddha encouraged us that we need to recognize them. Is that easy, right? Mm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, even if we do recognize it, still like the next day, distraction could come in. And so even the recognize it initially takes quite a bit, and then to keep it alive, to stay mindful of it, is an additional, I'd say, effort.
Yeah, because surrounding us, most people, 99, 95 up to 99% of people, they get involved. All those kind of fighting, all those type of argument, those type of um jealousy and so forth, right? And it become a norms. It's not easy for us to get out. That's why somehow yeah, sometimes I think that the Pure Land is just one of the best way for people to go there, so that we can have a support environment. If we don't have support environment, we live here. If we're not strong enough, if we don't have much wisdom or keep up with that type of mindfulness about impermanence, pure nature, we be pulled away easily. Like this, we we like the I live on the stream, on the stream of ocean and stream of river, right? We flow with them. There's no way for us to go against upstream unless we have some big boat, big ship, right? And that's why somehow, yeah, the Buddha say that his teaching is like the way that go upstream, not go downstream, right? Goes downstream together, goes downstream with them, with people, get more a long way with other people, much easy. But go upstream is not, it's much harder. You need to put a lot of effort. And if we don't have energy, if we don't have peer support, it's not easy to sustain that. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Avalokiteshvara does not practice alone because through it I also pass the land and were only ones have asked about the best experience for those in Dharma and in age who wished from samsara to escape in the search for nirvana heart. So again, is this Bodhisattva say, well, if someone really want to escape from the birth cycle or samsara, this is one of the best experience being. Um, uh, yeah, of course, but like the paradox too, right? One way that we want to keep our mind be power still, be happy in this life. Uh, but as much as we enjoy, actually, as much as we maintain that kind of happiness uh, or joyness in this life, sometimes we will not to go anywhere. What do you think? So actually, I think that is the thinking of the Theravada approach. But Mahayana tradition is it's more tricky. That yes, they live with or we live with the mundane world um, and help others. But sometimes if we don't have enough strength or power, it pulls us away. So how could we sustain or we maintain that kind of wisdom? We maintain that kind of bodhisattva path of view without being pulled away from the strong stream of mundane world. What do you think? How?
I think engaging regularly with the triple gem. So
Mm,
um, practicing meditation, being mindful of the example of the Buddha, and setting aside time to study the Dharma, to be involved with the Sangha in some ways,
mm,
um, and finding balance in that. Because if it's overdone, then later it might be underdone. So really finding that balance that can grow and deepen over time.
mhm. Have some backup, right? Have some support, right? Without that, it's not easy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Even like I told you many times that uh, the first few years when I was monk, yeah, I really love meditation. But the older am I, uh, the more I cling toward uh, rely upon the power of Buddha and Bodhisattva, because sometimes uh, we cannot control our own karma, especially the one that we do in the past, unforeseen event, unforeseen accident like what happened to me.
Hmm.
Not we cannot foresee those type of accident, those type of incident that maybe happen, and that's why we need to rely upon the Buddha power in that kind of moment. Of course, when we're healthy, we have to work on ourselves. Uh, so it's better to do to follow both. We need to set up ourselves with self-support, self uh, effort. But at the meantime, at the same time, we need to rely upon the Buddha powers. In my case, design Buddha names, or especially design the mantra. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not easy to maintain because there's a strong current out there, right? All kind of temptation, all kind of obstruction, and so forth. Mm. Especially in this country. Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. So okay, so let's move on, please. Yeah.
All right. The enlightened and world honored one is asked about the best expedience. For those in the Dharma ending age who wish from samsara to escape in their search for nirvana's heart, it is best to contemplate on worldly sound. All other methods are expedients used by Buddha in particular cases to keep disciples from occasional trouble.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so like different expedients like focusing on the nose or counting the breathing or any of the other meditative focuses. Here it's saying that the best once all other preliminary issues are settled is to contemplate on worldly sound. Yeah. I feel like I'm getting a sense of it at times where there's a just a beginning appreciation of the fact and noticing that like there's hearing even when I'm not paying attention to it. Like there's the hearing and then attention to the hearing is another thing. Or even when the attention is not on hearing, the hearing nature is still active there. There may be sounds that I, don't distinguish.
Mm.
Um, and just like kind of this sense of something that is not really a thing that's like still and unmoving in a sense. Um, yeah, but then I'll be distracted for a while, but periodically seems kind of like my mind like balances, like, kind of like a coin might balance on its edge. It kind of balances in that experience before it like goes off to something else.
Mhm. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. That's why we need to build up our habitual pattern to practice, right? Otherwise, we may get lost, we may fall down easily, right? Mm. Okay, yeah. Uh, oh, okay. One thing I remember. I like Zen story. So there's a story that as a master, didn't allow his student to read the sutra at all. He just want them to do meditation. That's all. But for him, he read a lot of sutra.
Yes.
And so one of his students complained that, Master, you don't allow us to read the sutra, but when I walk into your room, you have a lot of sutra to read. So what happening? And the master say, well, I read the sutra so that it cover my mind. It could cover my mind. But if I allow you guys to read the sutra, uh, you may, when you read the sutra, even the skin of the water bubble flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the bubble flow would be torn down. You understand what I mean? So you know how thick is the water bubble flow skin, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the master say what? Even if you guys read the sutra, the skin of water flow will be torn down. It makes sense now? You understand that?
Like the wisdom of the sutra, they won't be able to receive it, so they won't be able to cover them because it kind of they won't understand it.
Uh, it means they attach. They attach to the meaning of the meanings of the sutra. And the person when that his disciple complain that why does he read a lot of sutra? He say, well, I just read sutra to cover my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems like the I kind of have a sense of it, like covering it almost like a kind of ceiling or like guidance. One analogy I can use is in the sort of work that I do, treating the body structure. There are these common experiences people have, but they're hard to verbalize.
Mhm.
And then there are some osteopaths who've created very beautiful systems that verbalize those phenomena. And one can help teach it to people, but also people who already can do the work, it helps them understand and talk about it in a useful way. And so it's like if you already have the experience as a Zen master, he has an experience um, of enlightenment, then all the words of the sutras will match his mind.
Yeah.
And so it kind of reinforces the natural wisdom that's there. It affirms it. And so it strengthens that, the solidity of the enlightenment.
Yeah, to cover the mind, to protect the mind from wandering around, because he focused on, like you say, um, on his enlightenment and his awakening, realization, and of course, based on the Buddha teaching, it will be he will be certified or be conformed by the Buddha teaching, so that his mind would not be led away, right? Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so you see that I love this type of Zen story because it has a lot of profound meanings when we was young. And of course, when he say that even you guys read the sutra, um, the skin of water buffalo will be torn away, right? Right. When you tear out the paper, yeah.
Mhm.
So that just mean that because they still have attachment to the warden, right? Um, they uh, they may have the wrong views about the Buddha teachings that in that sense, in that profound hint, uh, implicit meaning there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's why here, let's go back here. Mm, yeah, so that's all the Buddha teaching is just the means, right? Let's see here. Okay, all right, is it my turn, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. They are not good for indiscriminate practice, but men of different types. I salute the Tatar storm, which is beyond the worry stream. Uh, so they are not good for indiscriminate practice, men of different types. Okay, so yeah, so whoever have those type of thinking, It's not easy for them to recognize this pure Dharma, pure nature. It's not easy for them to stay away from trouble, right? They're not good for it, and by made of different types. Um, so if they don't recognize us, they be stuck with them. So that's why he salute the Tatar store. You know what's the Tatar store?
Yeah, it's the is it like the Dharma body?
Yeah, but also it's related to the eight consciousness too. So now,
Okay. Maya.
yeah, yeah, now we call the alayam the storage consciousness. But when we clean them all, it become a Tathagata store. So according to the school of consciousness only, it say that the purpose of our practice is to cleanse those junk in our consciousness, in our a consciousness. We need to cleanse them, and it will be what they call the complete. It's like the complete bright mirror. The eye consciousness, when we let go of or cleanse all of the mess there or close, we clean all of the information there, it will be the complete bright mirror. It makes sense? You understand that? So that's why,
Yes.
yeah, that's why I salute the Tathagata store. That's what they call the Tathagata store, or the complete bright mirror there, which beyond the worldly stream. Yeah. That's what we just discussed that now we deal. Let's put this way: if our body is dirty, right, during the day, uh, that let's say we work on the field, right, and there's a lot of dirt is on power on our body. So yeah, definitely we go to take a shower, right, to cleanse them. But what happens if we don't take a shower for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, one even 1 month? The dust keep piling on our body, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if we don't purify our mind every day through meditation, through the San Sutra, Buddha, and the mantra, and so forth, the the power of dirt, of mental affliction will power on our mind, and we cover from layers to layers. There's no way for us to remember our pure nature at all. Yeah. So that's why the purpose in the consciousness school only, that we need to transform the eight consciousness into the Tathagata store. That means to become a pure, bright, and perfect mirror without any trace. Yeah, yeah, please.
Which is beyond the worldly stream. Blessed be coming generations, so that they have abiding faith in this easy expedient. So the Bodhisattva is wishing that future generations be blessed to have faith in this practice of turning the hearing back to the original nature.
So probably 1,000 years ago, even 200 years ago, much easier to practice, right? From there than now, because over there, I mean the past 200 years, I mean that before 200 years before our times, there were no internet, there's no social media, there's no iPad and so forth and so forth. There's not much
Yeah,
distraction. Does that make
no
sense?
radio. I think that's before radio too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
years before our time. So most people they live in the natural way, right? Most of the time they work in the field, right? They in architecture field. Uh, a culture, so they would not be distracted much like we are nowadays with
Hmm.
computer, with iPad, with cell phone, with internet, all kind of distraction. So for
Yeah.
them at that time, right, much easy, as much they understand the content, the message of this sutra. But for us, even we understand, but not easy to practice because we have so much
Hmm.
distraction. Um, uh, uh, Today, coincidentally I watched a hearing, public hearing. This happened in Capitol Hills that talk about they call in the CEO of Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and so forth, uh, to address the problem of the children who use those social medias, and some of them use in the wrong way, or because they immature. So that's why some of them they commit suicide and so forth. That's why the Congress asked that type of hearing. Mm. So again, in Buddhist view, nothing is good, nothing is bad, right? It depends how we use them, right? So especially for the
Hmm.
younger one, the younger children, because they so mature, they don't know how to use. That's why they harm themselves. But at the end, the big corporation they have to take responsibility on that. And so, in that kind of conversation, they mentioned that nowadays social media is so in general. Of course, we know this is that there's a lot of benefit, but in general, according to that theory, um, the um, the senators and so forth, they say that it is so evil, it is so negative, for especially for the children
Hmm.
nowadays. Whenever we mention about social media, right? Of course, it's convenient for us to contact with people everywhere, right? Whether in Vietnam, China, Africa, and so forth. But that's that's one of the advantage. But disadvantage is that all kind of darkness out there. So again, we live in this modern age, and we have that kind of wisdom to choose from. Mm. Okay. So mm, yeah, let's stop here today. So what do you think? What do you think about social media?
Definitely a big distraction. Phone in general, there's certainly an addictive component to it. It's very easy to just be habitual with checking it and spending time on it. Uh, and that's something I try to be mindful of. You know, periodically I'm I'm wasting more time on it than others. Uh,
Yeah.
for for business, it's hard to not be involved in social media nowadays. Like you have to create content. Um, so yeah, it's I think it is tricky to walk that line. It's easy to overdo it.
Mhm. And that's why I can mention recently that in that articles, the author mentioned that in one way, big corporation like Google, they organize the session for their employees to do meditation to practice the mindfulness one. But in other ways that they require or demand their employees to create or develop all kind of apps to hijack people minds to get people addicted with the apps. That's what they say. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean YouTube, they just want you to watch as much as possible. I mean any social media company wants you to just watch.
that's the point. And anyway, so back then my master, right, when we Hua, I remember he says so many times that the one that grade or develops even television is come from the evil one. At that time, I didn't believe that, frankly speaking. But now, in general, we see that. So they pour our energy away from our pure mind, right?
Hmm.
Some sort of negative energy there. Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's stop today then. Okay.